Shakur Stevenson, a masterclass in boxing IQ. Now, Shakur Stevenson is a great boxer that is being compared to Floyd Mayweather. And Shakur is defensive first with great distance control. He epitomizes the philosophy of the idea of hit and not getting hit in return. So let's try and understand his style, his boxing intellect, and technical nuances. So Shakur is in a southpaw position and he's on the ropes. Zepeda is also in a southpaw position. So Zepeda fires a right to the body and Shakur extends his left hand from the waist. Zepeda double feints and throws a left to the body. Zepeda then measures with his right jab. As he extends his right arm, Shakur throws a quick right hook. Shakur puts his head with a high guard and then steps to his right, creating a new angle. Zepeda tries another measuring jab and Shakur throws a straight left through the jab. It's important to note that the step to the right creates an angle for the straight left to land. Shakur is neutralizing Zepeda's jab. This is intelligent boxing. Now Zepeda from the southpaw position throws a left hook to the head and a right hook to the body. Zepeda then pushes out a right jab. As he throws the right jab, Shakur times a left uppercut counter. This is great punching awareness. Shakur then catches Zepeda's second jab. Zepeda changes levels and throws two jabs from the southpaw position that were blocked. He throws one to the body and one to the head. At this point, Shakur has a high guard. Shakur then throws a measuring jab from the southpaw position. He then throws a right hook straight left. The measuring jab deflects from the short hook and the short hook deflects from the straight left. This is boxing IQ. So Shakur starts the sequence with a jab, straight left, right hook to the head from the southpaw position. Shakur then ducks low with a high guard. Zepeda throws a right hook to the body and a right uppercut to the head. Again, this is coming from the southpaw position and it's a nice punch. Shakur absorbs the punch and counters with a hard right hook to the body. Remember, both fighters are in the southpaw position, so they are naturally throwing punches from different angles. Zepeda puts his head onto his front foot and fires a hard right to the body. Shakur catches the punch and throws a masterful straight left counter. This is the art of boxing being beautifully expressed. So Shakur is stepping to the left, changing the angle. As Shakur moves to the left, his right hand is low. As Zepeda walks forward, Shakur is on the ropes and throws a slapping right hook, followed by a combination. Shakur is not putting full authority on the punches. Shakur then throws a right measuring jab with his left hand low. The low left creates a different angle for that left hook. Shakur then leaves the ropes, again moving to his left. Shakur then sits back on the ropes. Zepeda changes levels, throwing a right jab to the body. It looks like Shakur is catching it with the Philly shell defense. Zepeda throws another jab to the body and then throws a long left that misses. Zepeda throws another jab to the body, which is caught. Shakur throws a jab left hook in a continuous motion. This is world-class boxing. So when we talk about Shakur, we can begin with a very small timeline. And that timeline is he turned professional in 2017 after winning the Olympic silver medal. And we all know that the Olympics is a platform that has integrity and is viewed as a platform that has a lot of credibility. So he won the silver medal. So we're already off to a good start. And from that situation, he was signed to Top Rank, which is a promotional company, and they fast-tracked him. So clearly there was a lot of faith in Shakur as a boxer, and there was investment. And he established that. He established that credibility with his performance. So when we begin with the path of Shakur, we have the 126-pound context. And he won his first title on October 2019. he won the WBO title, which is one of the 4 major titles, against Joel Gonzalez. So that was in the 126 pounds. Then on 130-pound contest, on April 2022, he won the WBC title, another prestigious title, against Oscar Valdez. And then in September 2022, he won again the WBO title in the 130-pound division, and he beat Robson. And therefore he became a unified champion. And then we've gone from the 126-pound contest to the 130-pound contest, and then finally to the 135-pound contest, where in November 2023, he won the WBC lightweight title, and he beat De Los Santos, I believe. So these are very credible achievements. You know, he's winning champions, he's beating champions. So when we talk about Shakur, what is the comparison? What is the comparison of Shakur Stevenson? Let's talk about comparisons a minute before we directly compare Shakur Stevenson. Now let's take Evander Holyfield. That's quite a hard fighter to compare because he has different elements to his style. But I think most people would say that Evander Holyfield would be comparative to Rocky Marciano. Why? Because Rocky Marciano had maybe one of the greatest hearts of all time and the greatest willpower. And you'd put Evander and Rocky Marciano as some of the most passionate, heartfelt fighters with tremendous levels of willpower. But then you might compare Evander Holyfield to Joe Frazier because of that relentless engine and because of that tremendous left hook. But then you've got Evander Holyfield's counterpunch ability, so there may be other comparisons. Other fighters may be more easier to compare, such as Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard, a great, great fighter. You can compare him to Terence Crawford. Perhaps you could say that Terence Crawford is a modern-day version of Sugar Ray Leonard in some senses. Of course, there are some differences with regards to footwork, switch hitting, and combinations, but there's a parallel with regards to adaptability. And then you could make the comparison to Floyd Mayweather. Again, there's differences. But when we talk about speed, reflexes, and elite IQ, there is some form of parallel. And when we talk about the Shakur comparison, I think of a few people. I think of the great Pernell Whitaker, southpaw stance, defense, angles, intelligence. That's what comes to mind. I also think of Andre Ward. And when Andre Ward, I think of composure, adaptability, and mental strength. Check out his performances against Sergey Kovalev and Carl Froch for reference. And of course, there's that comparison to Floyd Mayweather because there's that elite defense and distance control. So when we think of comparing Shakur, we're thinking of comparing him with great fighters. And that shows his potential. And of course, when we talk about comparisons or leagues, in boxing there's leagues, in football there's leagues. For example, there's a difference between contender, champion, great champion, and legend. All of them are respectable, but there are differences, there are levels. And perhaps with Shakur, the next sequence of fights will likely determine where Shakur sits at the table, or what is his level. What do we know? Well, we know that there's a cerebral approach that Shakur brings to boxing. That's what he brings to the table. He has the technique, he has the pedigree. Think of this. When you go for a job, the first thing someone will do, whether it be a manager, director, etc., they'll look at your CV. And generally speaking, they'll say, is it good or is it bad? Of course, there's some context here. What is a good CV? What is a bad CV? And from 1 to 100, there's, 30, 50, 70, etc. But your CV can determine your credibility and your value. And at the time of writing, Shakur Stevenson's CV is extraordinarily impressive. So this is the end of the video. I'm trying to build a digital boxing community. So I'm interested in your insights, your questions, and your observations, and I'll try to interact appropriately. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to support, like, and subscribe, and if you want to see more videos like this, click either here or here.